This is problem 2 on practice exam 8 of chapter 1 in the book Problem Solving with Differential and Integral Calculus. Thomas makes $15 an hour, works 40 hours a week. His weekly salary of $600. The normal equation for his weekly salary is his wage, in this case $15 per hour, and T is the hours worked, which is 40 hours, typically. So A, what's the difference equation that gives the change in pay if the wage changes and the time worked changes? Both change. So there's the difference equation. We change W and we change T, and as a result, we get a change in pay, weekly pay, and we want to calculate this. So we multiply out the right-hand side, and we get that, and we know that P is WT, so we can get rid of those and focus on the change. The change is WT plus T W delta T plus T delta W plus delta W delta T. Part B. If he gets a raise to $15.25 an hour, how much does his weekly pay change? So, we're going to use the difference equation. What's the change in time? Change in time worked is 0. So delta T is 0. T is 40, delta T is 0, W is 15, and delta W is a quarter an hour. That's the change in his hourly wage. Stick it in the numbers, we get $10. And this should not be surprising. If you make a quarter extra for 40 hours, that's $10. We don't need the difference equation to give us the answer. But we're learning about difference equations by doing simple problems. So on to part C. He only works 38 hours. Now you probably know right away that if you only work 30 hours and you normally work 40 hours, if you only work 38 hours and you normally work 40 hours, you're going to make $30 less because you make $15 an hour. But let's use the difference equation. Delta W is 0 because W is 15, that didn't change. But delta T is minus 2. T is 40 hours, the change is minus 2. So we plug in the numbers and we get, as we expected, the change in pay is minus $30. And that's the change, right? So it's $30 less than 600, which is 570 for the week. We're solving for the difference from 600. We're solving for delta P. So part D is he works 2 extra hours and gets a $1 raise. What's the difference in his weekly pay? So now 2 things are changing. So W is 15, delta W is $1 per hour, T is 40, delta T is plus 2. We stick all those in and we get $72 more. $1 extra per hour, 2 hours extra. But of course, it's $1 extra per hour for not just the extra 2 hours, but for all 42. So it's different by plus 62. That's the change. Now let's do part E. He works only 37 hours, but got a raise to $17.50 from $15. What's the difference in his weekly pay? There's the equation. T is 40, delta T is minus 3. He worked 3 fewer hours. W is 15, delta W is plus 2.5. He got a raise from $15 an hour to $17.50 an hour. So we plug all those numbers in, and we get plus 47.5. Still made $47.5 more than 600. And of course, we can use the normal equation, right? The normal equation is simple. It's WT, $17.50 per hour times 37 hours. We get $647.50. We calculated the difference from 600 using the difference equation. It should all make sense. You should be very comfortable with difference equations, as comfortable as you are with normal equations. It takes a long time. You have to do a lot of problems. You have to do a lot of problems if you want to understand. Unfortunately, that's the case.